What's up, soldiers? Your boy Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com vibes, and up in the kitchen as usual. I had a request via Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, you can do so by checking out at CaribbeanPod. But anyways, the person wrote in, Chris, Super Bowl is around the corner. Can you hook us up with a chicken wings recipe? Most certainly. Here's the thing, I've been waiting to do this recipe for a while now, kind of procrastinating. But here we go, we're doing a tamarind glazed chicken wings. A little bit sweet, a little bit spicy, a little bit, real niceness. Survives it up. In the pot here I have 3 cups of water coming up to a boil. And to that we're going to add equal parts salt and brown sugar, and that is 1/4 cup of each. I've got here some allspice berries. And all the ingredients I use here today will be posted down in the description as well as on CaribbeanPod.com. I've got here some fresh thyme, a couple slices of ginger. I'm just going to turn my heat down because I don't want this to boil. I just want it to simmer for about a minute or two. And some scallions. That's just 1 scallion that I chopped up. The whole idea here in making this in the hot water is to help release some of the flavors from what I just added there. Plus to help melt that salt and sugar to bring it all together. And one final thing, I'm going to go in with some fresh ground black pepper. And if you've got black peppercorns, you can just go in with that. I'm just going to turn my heat off now. I'm going to give that a good whisk, and then I'm going to put this in the fridge to cool because we want this cold before we put this brine on the chicken. We don't want to put hot brine on chicken. And in sometimes when you're doing brines, you may see people add ice to here. I'm not going to add any ice to this because I don't want to dilute all that niceness I have in there. Here I have 3 pounds, and this would work anywhere from 3 to 5 pounds of chicken wings. I've got 3 pounds of chicken wings here that I trimmed off and I washed with some lemon juice. And here we go. We have that brine that we made earlier. Now I said put it in the fridge to chill, but if I'm being honest with you guys, I had it outside on the porch. I'm based in Canada and it is about -1 degree Celsius out there. So, but the point is, make sure that brine is chilled before you put it in here. I'm just going to make sure and mix that up a little bit, covered with some plastic wrap, put it in the fridge 2 to 3 hours. Try not to go anything more because the amount of salt we have in there, and the chicken wings are small, so you really don't need to keep it for too long. Overnight, no. 2-3 hours and you're good. It's been in the fridge now in the brine for about 3 hours. Now, what I want to do is to bring it back up to temperature, to room temperature. So I'm just going to set it aside here while I work on the tamarind sauce for it. And here I have about 2.5 cups of water on a high heat. And this is the tamarind paste. This is how it comes in the Asian stores, the Latino stores, and the Caribbean stores. And I think many of the everyday grocery stores usually have it now as well too. And all it is, it's a tamarind paste, like so. I'm just going to open this up. And what you want to do is after you open it up, it's going to be nice and thick and sticky and everything else. And that's just about 1 cup of it. Just going to put it in that water, bring that water up to a boil, and we need that to sort of to break that down to make it into a nice tamarind liquid. As it comes up to a boil, you want to reduce it to a simmer and start using a spoon or something to break up the tamarind paste, because you need that to really melt away and combine into the liquid here. And as I do that, I'm going to go in with 2 slices of ginger, and I'm going to go in also with 3 cloves of garlic. I'm just going to smash it with the back of my knife, and I want that to infuse this base here. I just want to keep working it until you've dissolved the tamarind paste. It's been going for about 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes on that sort of rolling boil. As you notice, it's a nice, thick tamarind goodness sauce going on here. What I'm going to do now is turn off my stove, and I'm going to strain that into a bowl so we can get to really intensifying the flavor of that tamarind. I've got my saucepan now on a medium heat, and over there you can see I've already strained off the tamarind. That's only pulp and stuff that's left there, but here's that lovely nectar of that tamarind. I'm going to go in with about a tablespoon of olive oil, and right away I'm going to go in with 2 scallions that I diced up, and I'm going to turn my heat down to low because I want to sweat that. I'm also going to go in soon with 1 Scotch bonnet pepper. Notice I didn't use any of the seeds because I know it's going to be terribly hot if I use those seeds. Now if you want it screaming hot, you can obviously use the seeds. Sweat that down for about 2 to 3 minutes. Next up, we're going to go in with that finely diced Scotch bonnet pepper. Now remember to wash your hands with soap and water immediately after. Turn the fan on over your stove because with that pepper in there, I just want that to soften up a little bit. It may cause you to choke. And I do apologize if this video turns out to be rather long. I really want to explain all the steps that I'm doing here. So after about a minute after adding that Scotch bonnet pepper, I'm going to go in with some black pepper. Then we're going to go in with that tamarind. Remember, it's already infused with that garlic and that ginger as well. Give that a quick stir. We want to bring that back up to a boil because we need to reduce this down. We've got here some ketchup, just plain old tomato ketchup. And again, all the ingredients will be mentioned down in the description of the video, as well as on CaribbeanPot.com. For that sort of sweet, sticky element, we've got brown sugar. More sweetness, honey. So you're going to get the tartness from the tamarind, you're going to get the kick from that Scotch bonnet pepper, and that lovely sweet sort of barbecue kind of something from that brown sugar and that honey. We need some salt in there. And the final ingredient, I have here 2 oranges that I just sliced open like that, and I'm just going to go ahead and squeeze the juice in there for that sort of citrus kick. After about 7 minutes or so, you will notice it will start to thicken up. And what I would recommend doing here is to take out about, I don't know, maybe about half a cup or so and set it aside, because it will be a great dipping sauce if you want to just fry the wings and serve it a dipping sauce on the side. I'm going to take about half a cup out, and I'm going to continue reducing that for a little bit more. As you can see, it's almost there. It's getting nice and thick now. Here's where you're going to taste it. You're looking for 3 things. You're looking for a tartness from that tamarind, sweetness from that sugar and honey, and the spice kick from that Scotch bonnet pepper. I would ask you to taste it and adjust it with sugar. For some of you may want it more like a barbecue sauce, so you can adjust the sugar at this point. It's almost there. It's been going now for about 12 minutes. We'll give it about 15 minutes and then we'll remove it off the stove. It's nice and thick. It's nice and thick now. All I'm going to do is just give that a quick stir, and I'm going to set it aside on the far side of the stove there, and I'm going to go on with my wok. Now you can use a deep fryer, you can grill the wings, you can bake the wings. It's totally up to you. I'm using a wok because of that high sides, so when I fry it in that vegetable oil, chances are I won't have to clean up much of a dirty stove. Here I have the wings on paper towels, and I'm just going ahead and sapping up any sort of moisture, any sort of liquid, because remember, we're going into hot vegetable oil there. And if you notice any sort of dregs in there, it's oil that I've used before. I really don't toss hot oil all that much. But what I did was, with the wings, I drained it, I strained it, I got rid of all that marinade, the sort of herbs and everything we had on it, rinsed it out in cool water, drain it, and then pat it dry. It's important that you rinse them in cool water because it's going to be overly salty if you don't. All we're doing now is adding the chicken wings to the oil. You don't need to season this anymore. You don't need anything else but to fry them off. You can grill them, as I said, or you can do them off in the oven, but I like frying them. Try not to overcrowd the pan. So with the 3 pounds, I'll probably make it in 2 batches. It's been about 15 minutes now, so these are fully cooked. All I'm going to do is remove them, place them on a paper towel lined drainer here, just to get rid of all that excess oil. You can see the lovely golden color we've got going on there. And I'm going to go in with the second batch and fry those off. The wings have all fried off, and this step here, what you could do is brush the tamarind sauce over it, the glaze over it, stick it in the oven 425 degrees, and it will stick on there nicely. What I'm doing though is I'm warming up back the glaze in the same pot here, just on a low heat, just to warm it back up so it's a little bit more loose, because it will thicken up as it cools down. And then I'm going to add the wings directly to the pot here. Now the other thing what you could do is put this in a big bowl, toss that sauce in there, and then you're good to go. But I just want this to kind of get sticky and lovely, and oh boy, it's all kind of nice. Let me just move this around just a little bit first. And you want those wings to pick up all that nice sauce that we made here, that tamarind sauce. Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com, and all you're doing here now is heating this through, right? So recipe done basically. Always a pleasure to have you guys here in the kitchen with me. Remember, as I said, partner catch me on Instagram and requested this recipe. A nice something for Super Bowl. Tamarind Glazed Chicken Wings. Always a pleasure to have you guys here in the kitchen with me. And do give the recipe a try, man. Impress your friends then when they're coming over for a Super Bowl or cricket or football. Or when I say football, I mean soccer, the real thing.